Hello, my name is Laurie Larson Caesar, and I serve as Bishop of the Oregon Synod in the Evangelical Lutheran Church in America. And I'm delighted to introduce to all of you one of our newest pastors in Oregon. Brett Pinder comes to us from the United Methodist Church. He's served in that faith tradition for 10 years, and he enters doing something that I don't think we've done very often before in Oregon, and that's partnering community organizing and ministry in a congregation. So Brett, yay. I'm so glad you're bringing your tradition, your energy, your obvious smarts and faithfulness into our community. Would you share a little bit about who you are and how you would describe the work ahead?
Sure. Yeah, my name is Brett Pinder, he, him pronouns. I've served in local churches, and I was a campus minister for a long time. And now I am working at, I am the pastor of St. Paul Lutheran Church here in Southeast Portland. And part of that position also includes being the facilitator and convener for a community organizing cohort for an ecumenical group of churches who over 9 months will be learning how to do community organizing. And as they're learning, they'll start practicing. St. Paul is part of that. And so the two positions kind of bleed together. So I kind of like to think of it as at St. Paul, you know, I am sort of on the ground through the day-to-day, week-to-week ins and outs of what it looks like to start that work. Yeah.
And who are our ecumenical partners who are joining in the praying and the funding and the collaborating?
So the Oregon Synod, the ELCA Oregon Synod, the United Methodist Annual Conference, the Oregon-Idaho Annual Conference, and the Presbytery are all funding the community organizing half of my position. Similarly, I'm trying to run through the participants in my brain. I think right now those are the denominations that we have congregations from who are joining in on the cohort. It just launched on Wednesday, less than a week ago.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah.
What was the response of the congregations when you approached them and said, would you like to be a part of this? How's that been?
It's been good. I mean, it has ranged a little bit depending on if a congregation has some familiarity with organizing and organizing as a faith community. A number of them have and have just been sort of excited just at mention of what we're doing. You know, and then others with a little bit of conversation about, you know, naming that we are in this weird, like kind of quasi end transition period of the pandemic, and we're all tired and trying to figure out what comes next. And we can be tired and figure out what comes next in just our little silos or like alongside our community. Folks kind of light up and are interested in being a part of our broader community to figure out how we fare forward.
So it sounds to me like it could potentially unleash imagination. How can you imagine it? What are some possibilities going forward? Like, how can it be more than just slowing an inherent, you know, holy closure situation for congregations that have amazing people, but not always enough funds to continue?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think you named it. I think one of the big potential outcomes is an increased capacity of imagination of what is possible in our neighborhoods and from our community, our religious communities and our broader communities. And I think that's a big takeaway if we are just able to sort of expand that imagination. But I also think having done, I mean, I mean, the kind of great thing about the process of community organizing is, right, it starts with one-to-one conversations and listening. And you hear what the pressures are in people's lives and what their experiences are and what they're excited about. And you get that expanded imagination for what's needed and possible. But suddenly, having done all of those conversations, you also have this expanded network of partners to join together in doing something about, whatever it is that the Spirit won't let us let go of. And so, right, so I think, the hoped for outcome for each congregation is that they will have a community issue and a spiritual issue to act on by the end of our 9 months. It seems like we have between 5 and 7 congregations who are joining in.
Wow.
And a couple of them might end up hearing some of the same stuff that they really want to be working on and join in. And I'm thinking a little bit about as we get more involved in our communities and are able to show our neighborhoods that our churches can be places of transformation, for the world around us. I don't know. I think that shifts how we are thinking about funding, and I think that shifts what's possible. In terms of asking people to contribute to what they have helped build that is transformative.
Yeah. And a lot of pastors don't have many tools in community organizing, or don't have any idea about how to go about it. So what's your unique history that gives you a sense for possibility?
I think about my own calling into ministry in 2 phases. The first, in undergrad, I was a philosophy major. The guy that I took most of my courses from had background in philosophy or religion, and I was sort of just struck in awe of this, the work of deconstructing meaning and reconstructing it. And I thought, if I could do that, that would be cool. So I went into ministry. But it didn't take me very long into ministry to sort of realize, our churches have such potential. Having gathered a number of people and having resources, whether, maybe just a building, if not making ends meet budgetarily, they have such potential to make change for the better. And I didn't have the tools I didn't know what to do with that. So the second calling happened, I think, in Baltimore. I was working at the University of Maryland in College Park as the campus minister. And that meant that I got to attend a congregation of my choosing because I didn't have a Sunday commitment. So I went to this congregation in Baltimore, and it was the uprisings after the death of Freddie Gray, the murder of Freddie Gray, were happening. And this congregation had been doing the work before, but they turned up the dial on their community organizing and community engagement work. And through that congregation, I kind of learned what community organizing was about. They were connected to a really great national organization called Next Church, where I learned, I took community organizing training and really found the language and tools that created that calling to be part of the work of helping our churches find that way of engaging our community.
I think most of us who attend church dream that our churches will make a big difference in the world, but we've forgotten how to do it if we ever knew. So tools matter a lot. Coming alongside, listening to people, taking seriously their stories, and then finding the way the Spirit is moving in the neighborhood together seems to me to be a powerful lens that community organizing reminds us of, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so grateful that you're in our mix, and can't wait to see what Spirit does with all of you. Thank you, Pastor Pinder.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.